Okay, Dr. Supanek, the floor is yours. I think we can get started.
Okay, good morning. It's my pleasure and privilege to present to you the Department of Civil, Construction, and Environmental Engineering at San Diego State University. I know that you would like to learn something about this department and make your decision accordingly. I know that you are searching for different places. You'll be visiting several other universities to simply decide. And I hope that after my presentation, I will make a convincing case that San Diego State is the best, okay? And I'm the department chair of the department that has 4 majors. And if we go to the next slide, please. Can we make a progression of slides? I don't know if I can do that here, or maybe I can. Oh, yes, I can. Thank you. Okay, so first is actually, well, I don't see the civil engineering, but we start with construction engineering. Okay, okay, we went a little bit too far, too fast. Okay, so if we go, okay, civil engineering. So first of all, something about the profession itself or major itself. As you can see, the civil engineering projects were actually defining civilizations. If you go from pyramids in Egypt, the second slide shows aqueducts in Rome that actually still work after so many years. Then you see some more modern examples, Golden Gate Bridge. It's really, you know, definitely defining what this civilization can do. This last slide shows our own project when we actually introduced for the first time in the world so-called the dynamic congestion pricing. I was responsible for that project that assures that nobody can be delayed, everybody can arrive on time because we control completely speed on those express lanes. Let's go to the next one. Let's see if I can, okay. Construction engineering and construction management. We have 2 specialties like that, 2 majors already in our department. And I chose Dubai as an example of both, because you need to construct it first, and you have to do it in such a skill that you have to have some skill to manage those big projects. And Burj Khalifa has 163 floors. That's 2,700 feet, you know, building. You can imagine that's quite a challenge for designers and quite a challenge for builders. And then you can see, I mean, all examples. I mean, why I'm bringing that? Because actually we were, as a department, we were meeting in Dubai to meet our Afghani partners because we had a World Bank project that was to help them to develop modern civil engineering program. So the fact that, you know, World Bank paid $2 million to do that, it's really telling something about the quality of our program, because they could pay that money to somebody else. Okay, we go to next. I don't know my advancement. Okay, so it is now another major, the 4th major, and that's environmental engineering. So we could use the phrase, okay, those people are saving the world, and that would not be much of exaggeration, but in fact, they are just cleaning our air, our water, and our soil. You know, the first picture shows some city in China. Well, quite a bit of smog, as you can see. Well, not necessarily very comfortable situation. This is cleaning of the Exxon Valdez in Alaska, the major disaster that happened, and that's water. And then the next one, I don't know if you could guess very easily, but that's the school in Chernobyl in Ukraine that had the major nuclear plant disaster, and then the cleaning needed to be done. And the last picture shows our own students actually monitoring some water quality in San Diego. Okay. Okay, so I want to give you 10 reasons why to choose programs at San Diego State, one of the 4 programs that we have in our department. I don't want to go over 10 reasons, or aspects of that, but I will just address them one by one in a moment. And we do that, I do that in alphabetical order, just not to make any preference. Okay, let's see. For some reason, I cannot advance it. Okay. Yeah, so first is celebration of diversity and inclusion. That is very important to our department. As a matter of fact, it was an item in our strategic plan, has been for more than 15 years. And the result is amazing, because we have 40% of our professors are female professors in an engineering department. Do you know what is the national average? 18%. Well, that's, if you go to another place, you might actually, if you care about this aspect, you can ask, well, what is your percentage, right? 5 Hispanics, 1 African-American. I just for fun once checked, where people were born, and they were born on 6 continents, which is amazing. So, we're missing Antarctica, but, that's not very likely to contribute. Now, importantly, our minority faculty are assuming leadership position. One of them is right here, and that's the endowed chair, Dr. Alves, who is actually our director of the construction engineering and management program. But we have many more. As you can see, the list is very long, and that shows that those faculty members that would represent the minorities typically are doing extremely well. And as a matter of fact, in our environmental program, 50% of students are women. And right now, I think there are more women than men. And student organizations have as their presidents typically very often Hispanics. And what we are very proud of is that statistics show that there is no apparent achievement gap for underrepresented minority students. So they do academically as well as all others. Okay, next, please. And I can see if I can do it. Oh, I can. Choices within CCEE. That is also something that is unique for our department. And actually, when you go somewhere else, you can ask if they have that kind of variety. Well, we have 4 programs. Okay, we have civil engineering, we have construction engineering, we have construction management, and we have environmental engineering. Construction management started just last fall. And we have also 6 specialty areas in masters, but that might be less of your interest at this point. And then we have also a joint doctoral program with UCSD. We have really phenomenal growth record. If you just look for reference year 2002 and then 2020, we have increased in the student numbers by more than 200%. The largest area, the largest major is civil engineering, but we have already some students in construction management that are not listed here. What is important also that we are major contributors to the workforce in the local area, but also in, nationally, because with graduating 179 students for civil engineering brings us places us in the top 10 in the US. So that's something also to consider. And then expansion into construction management will bring additional students with years to come. If you go to the next, faculty quality. Okay, there are some measures of faculty quality. We are very fortunate that if we have a department search for the new faculty, we are authorized to, let's say, hire a new professor. Typically, we will get 70 to 140. Sometimes we can even more than 140 candidates. And those are all with PhDs, really, really very qualified. The top 10 will be top notch. And we are more often than not, to hire first choices. So we get really excellent professors. And we have a measure, which is H factor. I will not explain what it is, but if you look at the numbers, all our professors have their H factors listed on the website, and those age factors basically tell you about your prominence in the international setting, how well you're doing in your respective profession. We teach very well. As you can see, there's 4.2 or 4.4 out of 5. It's very, very good result. Students are critical. If they don't like something, they will be very vocal. But if they do like, they will tell us that they do. What is important about us is, and sometimes it's hard to detect it right away, but if you have a very good teamwork, if you have professors who work very well together, they support each other, they have pride, they have camaraderie, they respect each other, they, basically cherish everybody's achievement, which is absolutely the case in our setting, then you come to the place where it is like really very happy family. You are part of it. And we also are aspiring right now to have an independent PhD program. We do really very timely updates for our accreditation and so on. So all this is very good teamwork. Well, we have also a strategic plan. I mean, nothing happens by chance. You have to think ahead, and then you have results. And planning is comprehensive, it's continuing, it's cooperative. So we involve all our partners in this planning. Now let's look at the results. We have, well, we identify some areas that we would like to excel in. And what is the result? We have National University Transportation Center with two top contributors nationwide. That's Virginia Tech and Texas A&M. We have Blue Gold Area of Excellence in environmental area. And then we have recently, just in the last 2 years, we have the most prestigious awards that can be given to young researchers, and that is NSF Career Award. They happened in our department more than any other department in the college. We have 3 of them, one in civil engineering, one in environmental, one in construction. So that is really a very good proof of excellence. And then independent PhD program, I already alluded to that. We were the pioneers to actually promote that, and we presented a very good proposal that is now pending. It will take some time, but we will eventually have independent PhD program. Now, nothing can be done alone. We can be excellent as teachers and researchers, but we need some help. And this help comes from industry. The industry will never pay for a program that is shabby, that is not so good. If they see that program is strong, they want to support it. And we have now more than $13 million in endowments alone. So that is very impressive. You can go to another place and you can ask, how about your endowments? Do you have endowments? How many? How much money? Okay, now what that means? It means that the state resources that support, let's say, state university system, it is definitely not enough. We need to have some support coming from outside to do what we do best. So, and we have recently a new building, EIS building on the campus, and our own benefactors from our own department were the key players in this project also. Okay, what is next? International. We don't want to focus on San Diego County alone. We want to open the world for our students. And as a matter of fact, we have 2 active projects, one in Krakow, Poland, when we had 6 editions already in that city. Our students go there, study there, get credits for their courses when they come back. Another one is in Panama City, also very successful project. And we are thinking of a new project in Granada, Spain. Now this COVID situation, of course, delayed some of those ideas. But we have also College First Erasmus Plus program in Krakow, Poland. What does it mean? If you go there, you don't spend any money on your own. European Union will pay for that. The trick is that university in Europe will have to select you as a partner. So we have to be good partners in order to be selected, but then you can go for free practically. We have also San Diego State, Georgia program. That means that we have similar program, actually identical program to ours in the capital of the Republic of Georgia, that is in Tbilisi. We have civil engineering and construction engineering program over there. Students are graduating from that. We monitor that. We make sure that it is working. In the past, we had this World Bike program that I alluded to before when we met our Nangarhar University partners from Afghanistan in Dubai. And there are a lot of projects that we have by different faculty members in practically all continents. And we are really very proud of that because international focus is very important. Now, program quality. We have, as I mentioned already, that if you have 3 career awards, that is so competitive, incredibly competitive nationwide, in one department in the last 2 years, well, that tells you something about the quality, but we need to also satisfy some accreditation issues. This is basically to meet all the requirements that are listed by that agency, and we have to show that we meet them all. So we have all 3 programs, construction, engineering, environmental, and civil, reviewed, and they were reviewed and approved after the first review. That is very rare, and actually we all 3 are accredited, but construction management is too new. It will be accredited once we have first graduates, so that will take maybe another 2 years. Well, we also have very good collaboration with industry on this aspect. They support us, they meet with the reviewers from ABET, and they are very convincing partners to tell the reviewers that we are doing very well, that they are really looking forward to hire our graduates. Students evaluate our courses. We decided to do every course is evaluated every semester. That's more than ABET requires. But also we involve students. We want to see how they perceive every performance of every professor on every course, every semester. Number 8. Where is number 8? Whoops. Okay, research. Some schools, again, you can go and ask. Some believe that teaching alone is just fine. If we teach well, great. The students are getting the knowledge they want. Not quite. If you really look closer, some of the fields will be, represented by knowledge developed maybe 30 years ago, maybe 50 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. But it is a completely different story if you have students contributing to very new knowledge. They actually work with professors and create something that haven't been created before. So if you have really professors who involve even undergraduate students in research, well, then they have this feeling that, wow, I didn't quite learn what somebody discovered 100 years ago. I just contributed to something that was published because they're also getting published, to the new knowledge that nobody knew before. So that is phenomenal, and actually we even got the praise from ABET about that. Note what is the increase in our research productivity. 142,000 per faculty per year is a good number. You go to another university, particularly in the CSU system, and you ask about that. The fact is that San Diego State University is producing more in terms of research dollars than all other campuses combined. Well, which is kind of interesting. We have excellent opportunities to extend that research projects, because several new, very important projects are in pipeline. That will be just major consortium-related projects where we work with other universities. Interestingly, you have also our students go to different countries. Like, for example, in South Africa, they worked on on environmental projects with our professor, Dr. Mladenov, took students there. Well, that's quite an adventure, isn't it? Okay, now 9, service to the community. I will go over that very fast because it is expected that our professors will be active. They will publish, they will, be very prominent in their respective professional organizations. They serve on different things, but I just wanted to point out about maybe 2 things. One is our former faculty, Dr. Westermo. He started something that you might have heard of, which is Project Lead the Way. It is going to primary schools, to going to high schools, to introduce students to the concept of engineering. Just initiated that kind of desire to eventually become engineers. And he started small in the just San Diego area with very few schools, and then became California director of the Project Lead the Way that involved already thousands of schools. Dr. Pons, our professor in water area, has the largest in the world web-based hydrology lab. When I went for my lecture in Hong Kong, they asked, if I know Dr. Pons. I said, yes, I do. He's in my department. And they said, well, he's very famous. We look at his, his posting, hydrology lab, his calculators, and so on. We coaching students for San Diego State Research Symposia. We have also a lot of activities beyond engineering. We are active in different things. We have artists, we have musicians in our department, which is really enriching this whole culture of being really kind of not one-sided, being very open to different things. Number 10, I need number 10, student success. That is the most important because that is alphabetically last, but it is number 1 in terms of what we want to accomplish. Our student success is our major goal. Well, let's look at the results. Well, ASCE student chapter, ASCE stands for American Society of Civil Engineers, has top 5% ranking internationally in the last 4 years. And then in the past, it was pretty much the same story. But we have letter of commendation to 2018, 19, 20, 21. So the most recently is 21 from the world headquarters of ASCE. What does it mean? We have chapters around the world, mostly, of course, in US, and we have more than 300 of them. You have to be in the top 15 in order to have that rating. We hosted a National Concrete Canoe competition in 2018, and that is our 6th hosting of the major event. I don't believe that there is any other university in the US who has this kind of record, because 6 major events to host, it is primarily they liked our hosting and they liked San Diego, so they came here. Well, I personally have been an advisor to this ASCE student chapter for the last 30 years, and I'm really, really very proud of my students' achievements, and because they do so well. Year after year, they bring a new prominence to us. Okay, it's supposed to be in the next page, yes. So just to give you some, I don't want to go over details, but you can see first place. In so many programs, we are excelling, not only ASCE student chapter, but also Chi Epsilon, first place, AGC, third place in National Arena competition, Water Resources, first place, Institute of Transportation Engineers, 2 first places, and so on. So we are, I think, doing well, because that is the proof, ultimate proof, how they can do against competitors from other programs. If they first take place, well, maybe that means something, right? Okay, so then what else I have? Next one. Okay, so to give you a flavor of what this competition is involved. So for example, for ASCE, we build a canoe out of concrete, which almost looks like impossibility, but yes, it can be done. And this canoe cannot sink. It has to float no matter what. That's the team that 4 people are now you know, in the race on that canoe. Then is our steel bridge in the third picture. And then we're celebrating our victory in volleyball because we are the best in volleyball, okay? Then next, see, okay, now we are going to a meeting, well, the banquet, which will be the award banquet. As you can see, these happy faces. I'm just among them. I'm very happy advisor. And then you can see how they react when the announcement was made that we won some competition. Another slide shows the officers of ASE, and this is the proof that is actually 2018 certificate of commendation from headquarters of ACCREDITATION, showing that we are indeed in that elite group. And then what we have, well, just showing you the documents. That's 2020 certificates of commendation, and this is 21 certificate of commendation. As you can see, the president changed, but our certificate of commendation don't. They say every year there is another national president of ASE. And then what we have, questions. So I'm proud to tell you that we have several people right now. We have Dr. Alves, we have Donovan Geiger from the College of Engineering, rep, you know, he's coordinating a lot of things for us. And we have also Alexia from the admission office. So if you have questions that would be related to those topics, you can maybe ask them on chat, but I'm open also to questions that we could also answer directly when you ask it. Okay, because that's the end of my presentation. Now is your time to ask questions. Oh, there is a question in chat. I don't know if oh yeah, there are several questions already. And I see that some answers were provided. But if you want to do that in real time, and if it was particularly a question that could be relating to you know, a lot of students, that would be maybe a good opportunity to ask directly rather than through chat. But if you have something a little bit more specific, the chat would be an excellent example. We can also answer that even after this session is over. Oh, there is a question. Can anyone come on April 9th? Well, the April 9th is intended to be face-to-face event. So we'll have our labs open. We will have us available for questions. It will be the style that we used to have before pandemics, where you know, everything was completely face-to-face. So yeah. Do transfer students have the ability to study abroad? Absolutely. You know, they are our students. If they are our students, they have the same opportunity. Does research is research required? I understand. In civil engineering majors, no, is not required, but it is very valued by both professors and students. Because if you are a good student and the professor wants to hire you to do research, work on the research project, it is definitely very good on your resume. There is a very big help for the professor, and so it's excellent. What if you admitted under one major now want to have interest in another? Can you be? Yes, you can change it easily. We have, from my perspective, I'm signing those change of majors forms quite frequently. Because let's say that you want to come to civil engineering and then you say, oh, maybe construction management would be a good field. And I would say, sure. I mean, normally I talk with the student and check if that student understands what it means, because sometimes the perceptions of what the majors are involved in is kind of foggy or maybe not really great. So then I'm saying, okay, do you see yourself in the field a lot? Do you want to supervise the construction side? You would like to be there, or you would like to actually design some civil engineering project? Well, those are two different, quite different situations. And if you see yourself a little bit, in one more than in another, then it would be a good choice. The bottom line, you should do what you really, truly enjoy. It is, the profession is fantastic. I didn't mention the fact that right now, federal government is devoting, $2 billion into infrastructure rehabilitation. So there will be a lot of work for all four of our major, sorry, I'm just getting used to the fact that we added the fourth one already. So, okay, let me see if okay, let me see.
Dr. Supernak, I want to answer some questions in construction, if I may.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
So there is a question about, first of all, there was a prospective student who mentioned which AP courses or which courses they should take in high school. I was trying to find the link for that, but there is a list of AP courses that you can take in high school that would transfer to SDSU. But if anybody is interested in engineering, in the engineering majors and in construction management, I strongly recommend that you get into the calculus related courses so that you can, by the time you get to SDSU, you don't have to go back too far in calculus. As far as the question about hands-on experience in construction management, so our focus is really to prepare professionals in the construction industry. So we always receive questions about hands-on work, which we believe this is acquired in a community college or also in apprenticeship programs. Our focus is really in preparing the professional, the hands-on experiences that we have in construction. And yesterday, 2 of our classes were visiting construction sites. One was on campus, one was visiting a project in San Marcos. So because we are in San Diego and we have access to many projects and the industry is very supportive of what we do, it only takes an email, a phone call, and we schedule these field trips. One of our classes takes students every Friday to a construction project. They receive a safety training first, and then they go to these projects. And others, we take the students, we bring as speakers, and they also participate in competitions. So this is our hands-on way, is to prepare the students professionally in terms of what they will really do. They will manage and design, in the case of construction engineering students. So that's what they are prepared for. The other comment that I saw here about construction, they do travel for study abroad as well. So Donovan and Dr. Supernak can also talk about that, but the college has multiple programs, and the university in general has programs that students can take advantage of. And the fact is, we encourage that, but these programs are not necessarily construction based. It's not that they are traveling to build something, but if the students who are interested in this kind of activity, if they join, let's say, the Engineers Without Borders, then they actually fundraise, they go abroad and they build. So these are the experiences that we have outside of the classroom. We are very close to the industry. Our students usually intern during the time they are at school because it's very easy for them to do so. And they get hired, most of them, before they graduate in construction. So that's these are my answers. If there are any other questions, I'm happy to answer or write on the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Alves. That is exactly right. I know that for so many years, and I've been the chair for quite a long time, our trademark is hands-on. Everybody knows here in the, not only in San Diego, but around, that we prepare students very well. Students basically are ready for job on day one. They can do something right away. They don't need a lot of training, like maybe some other schools would, be in that category. That's they graduate some students, but they actually will need a lot of training before. I don't want to necessarily say which schools and all that. That's not the point. But I know that our preparation is excellent. It was something about the roadmap. We are very careful about that because actually Louisa Smith actually prepared for you the actual document, how we do that, but we pay a lot of attention to make sure that we monitor students' progress once they take courses, which courses they're supposed to take and when and how they're connected. Also, we are offering several courses each summer, which will speed up your graduation. That is another goal of ours. We want to make sure that you don't spend as much time, too much time at this university as much as you might like it.
Yeah, I also would like to say that we are always available for advising. So the college has a great group of advisors that are working with us, but faculty is always available to talk about careers, to point to internships, to make connections. I personally, I like to meet my students. I like to talk to them. I like to sit down to get this personal connection so that if I see something that they like, that they are interested in, I'll keep sending those things their way. And I want the students to understand that we are there for them. Like, I cannot take the exams for them. I cannot do their homework, right? But I can be there to support them in any other way. In Dr. Supernak is the same. We are always there. We are always available. And the goal is that the students come in and really talk to us. They can get their classes lined up. Louisa pointed out to the mind map where you see the different courses you have to take. And right now in the month of March, we are actually meeting the students to make sure that they are on track. We are looking at what they have planned so that they keep progressing steadily towards graduation. So that's another thing that I would like to point out there. As a student in construction, you are going to be talking to me if you want, or you can also talk to the advisor or talk to both of us so that we can put things on track.
Yeah, I want to echo that sentiment because end of this month, we will have our Pacific Southwest Conference for civil engineering students, and that happens to be at the UCSD this year. So as an advisor, I'm already kind of excited about that, to join them and to be their cheerleader, to watch them, compete and win and all that. It is a thrill. And also for international programs, I'm sometimes meeting the students who took the first or second study abroad program in Poland, and they say now, look, this was such a fantastic experience. Thank you so much that you convinced us to go there, because sometimes there is a hesitation, there's a little bit of cost associated with that, but then they say, wow, that was all worth it. We learned so much, we opened our eyes, we understand the world, and so on. So that is something that we are really proud of.
Yeah, there was a question about graduate program at SDSU, and depending on the major that you have and your interests, you are going to connect to faculty who do research in the areas that you have interest in. So if as an undergrad, you have interest in a certain area and you work for that lab, for that professor, by the time you get to grad school, you might be getting part of your grad school paid for with your research work. So you might have a scholarship that is going to pay for tuition and work, or part of it. But right now in our department, what's happening is we need more people. I talk to my colleagues and I hear all the time that they need more students to do research with them. They have the resources, and the students are so busy, not just with school, but also interning. The industry hires our students like very fast. And sometimes the students don't want to do research. They're just gonna go and work in the industry, and we can brag about that. It's a nice problem to have. So as Dr. Supranak was saying, we have a lot to brag about because our students are very well connected with the industry, and they transition very well when they graduate.
Well, those endowments and scholarships are plentiful. Some of those scholarships could be 5,000, can be even 10,000. So that is something that we get from the industry regularly. But again, we have to deserve it. If we are good, they will pay. If we're not so good, well, they will not be so willing. So again, I'm kind of convinced that after you examine some differences between San Diego State and some other places, you might realize that we have some things that others don't. And even the fact that in the same department, we have civil engineering, environmental engineering, construction engineering, construction management. That is very unique. That is one of the, maybe, I don't know if there are so many, Dr. Alves might know better, but I don't believe there are a lot of other cases like that. What does it mean? Often, if you do a construction program, construction projects, you would like to do it fast and with efficiency, with least of the cost and all that. And it's easy to overlook that there are some environmental considerations. And then they would say, well, have you paid attention to this? That is really, so we have, the best, the course that is environmentally conscious construction, right? So those students are getting sensitive. They understand the other side. They know that not everything is black and white. There are a lot of connections and there are a lot of interdependencies that are relevant, that they have to understand, and they have to function very well when they go to work.
So there is a question which I see Donovan also answered about the jobs. So our department has something very unique. That's another thing we have to brag about. So every year, our students, the ASCE, American Society of Civil Engineers chapter, the student chapter, in our construction chapter, the AGC, American General Contractors Association of America, Associated General Contractors of America, AGC. They come together, and our chapter also represents CMAA, which is Construction Management Association of America. So this group, they come together, they bring 60 companies to campus, 60 companies. This is a career fair just for our department, just for these 4 majors that you are hearing about. The other majors in the college, they stop by this career fair, and we encourage everybody, the entire campus, to participate. But just our campus, this is organized by the students. They use the money to fundraise for, they use the event to fundraise for going to competitions. And you don't have to stay in a line with another 100 people waiting to talk to an employer. Our alumni are there to talk to people. The lines are very short because the career fair is very targeted. So if you start going to that, every year that you are here, you are going to prepare yourself to not just to be talking to potential employers, but also to find your job or your internship, whatever you are looking for. So for example, last year I pushed my students to go to this career fair. I teach a course that is Construction Engineering 101. I told them to go to this career fair, and as proof, they had to take a picture of them handing their resume to a company. And that was the proof for them to get extra credit. And the reason I'm talking about that here is because the students wrote back to me saying, Professor Alves, I'm so glad that you pushed us to go there, because now I'm not afraid to go into these career fairs. I see who they are. I see how they talk to us. I got prepared. I had my resume. Some of them got their internships, their jobs. So this is one career fair. The university has another career fair for STEM. They have a general career fair that is for everybody. And we have companies coming to campus every now and then to present. And our student chapter, for example, when the companies come, they pay for lunch. So the students show up, they pay for lunch, and they have an hour to talk to people in these companies, and they are usually recruiting. So the prospects of getting a job are very high. I can speak for construction. I get sometimes angry emails because I'm not answering them fast enough to post their internships and their opportunities. So it's, if you have the interest, if you have the dedication, the jobs are there. There are plenty of jobs right now, more than we can supply students to fulfill here in San Diego.
I wanted to ask also another thing, and that is that what we're doing here is the softball tournament that is done for the 16 companies, top companies in the area. They participate in that tournament. Our students are referees. They are basically running that whole event. And now, can you imagine, they are in this, sport uniforms, like that. And then you can approach somebody who is, let's say, very important person in that company, and you can talk, in different way, at lunch or something like that, because it is so informal. And at the same time, we have already a tradition of this event that goes many years back, and students are very, very successful in making money out of it. So our organization, out of each of these events, is bringing to their coffers some really nice dollars that they have for some other events. Later, when they go for a conference and they need to rent a hotel, they have money. So you can see that this is really a setting where students are not only students, they are really kind of almost like business people. They know how to run things, and the experience is there. So many events happened already. They know how to run them and learn from each other. So that's another, I think, thing that you could consider, because you can ask, do you have something like that somewhere else?
Yeah, they have to have this sense of entrepreneurship, because
Yeah,
they will have
right.
to go and look for money, for sources of money. They have to contact companies, and I think we are very blessed, very lucky where in terms of where we are located, because the industry is very close to the department. And as I said, SDSU is located in an area that you can intern all the time. You are meeting people. You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to take time off from school. And many students, they handle both, and they handle the officer positions that Dr. Supranak mentioned. So I think that's very important to mention too. Any other questions?
We still have time. I believe that according to the schedule, we still have about 13 minutes. And I would like you to take that opportunity, because, even with the chat system, it is even easier to ask those questions. Than sometimes people are a little bit shy to ask. We want to also convince the parents that they will be sending their kids in the good hands. For example, some universities will do very good instruction, but if you ask about research, they will say, well, that's not really our forte, we don't do it. If somebody is using those yellowish notes from maybe 20 years back, because the same thing is taught again and again and again, maybe it's a good knowledge, but it's old knowledge. And so then if students are really, we have more projects than students to be willing to actually be employed on them, that is opening completely another, opportunity that suddenly they feel partners, and actually, they produce something brand new. They have new understanding. They have a much broader perspective. So it is not taking away anything from the basic instruction, but it's adding, it's a value added, because they are partners, our partners in research projects and even publications. Okay, let's see. There is some question that Alexia answered already.
Yeah, so this question about calculus, all majors in the engineering, including construction management, they need at least calculus 1. So construction management needs calculus 1, construction engineering needs calculus 1 and 2, civil needs, I think, 1, 2, and 3 with environmental. So there is a difference in what is required, but calculus is required.
This last question, maybe Donovan would be the best person to answer. What timeline to transfer for transfer students? Okay, associate degree. First of all, the community colleges are articulated with us. So all the local colleges have courses that are equivalent to ours. My maybe personal advice would be to aspire to start at San Diego State right away, rather than come after 2 years. That's another good avenue, but sometimes we have a little bit of a shock, to be honest, that students discover that our standards are a little bit higher. And they might be very good at community college, and then suddenly they see that they are not as good as there when they joined us. So it's my personal opinion. I think both ways are fine. You can be a transfer student, you can be an original student coming as a freshman, but if you have very good background that comes from us, it might actually serve you really well in the courses that later follow.
I would like to add to that, when students are in community colleges, if they can take advantage of cross-enrollment, and I posted the link on the chat a little bit before I can post again. So while you are in a community college, you can start taking one course per semester, and there is a small fee associated with it, but it's not like a full tuition. And I have students who come to this course that I teach, Construction Engineering 101. They are still taking courses in a community college, but then they come and take this one course per semester and they come to my class. So once they are there, I'm a resource for them too, because they want to know more about the different majors, the differences, and we meet during office hours or after class. So I see a lot of advantages in taking this cross-enrollment path and taking this one course per semester, because you are already advancing the coursework at SDSU, and you have access to the faculty who might give you additional information and additional, answer questions that you might have. So I strongly recommend cross-enrollment. If anyone is on that path of the community college to transfer, because once you transfer, it's another 2 years usually. That's what we strive for, is that you have another 2 years after transferring.
Time to graduation is shortening. We are really proud of that, because there's a very concerted effort at the college level and also at the department level. I think we offer more summer courses than any other department. So you could actually speed up, taking the courses that you need. I don't know if you can see my pin here, because I'm having proudly wearing the tie, the San Diego State tie, but there is also one pin that probably might be not very well visible, but it is 125 number here. What does it mean? Well, that's the age of our university. So we will be celebrating this year the 125th anniversary of our existence, and proudly so. So we are, quite established university already.
Yes, and we would be very remiss if we don't talk that we have a great basketball team that is in the Mountain West tournament, and we are hoping that they're going to go farther. So this is another thing too. I think the entire city of San Diego rallies behind our teams, the basketball teams, both the ladies and the men's teams, and the football team. So that's another thing for those in construction and civil engineering. Our faculty has been taking students to see the construction of the Snapdragon Stadium. So I can tell you, it's priceless. I mean, you are in a place that you can visit a project like that and walk around. Last September, I went on a visit, and we get there. First of all, we are greeted by our former students who are helping build the stadium. And then we spend 3 hours there, between presentations and looking at every aspect of the site. Not many other schools can talk about that. And we have the entire Mission Valley campus that is going to be built in the next few years. So that means this perennial list of field trips that we are going to have. And this is just a trolley stop away, or a couple trolley stops away from campus. So I cannot wait to put my hard hat, my vest, and keep going with the students there, because it's a living lab. So that's another thing that we are very excited about.
Yes, I was there too, and I was very impressed how quickly that new stadium was being put together. Actually, the first game is scheduled already for September, right, this year. And I think the tickets are already, sold. And they are absolutely beautiful. I mean, we had our own, interestingly, when I mentioned about our advisory board, our industrial relations, our own, philanthropic supporter Steve Doyle, it was really very instrumental to have that campus already created, that city council was actually approving that and all that. And as you can see, some of those contacts that we established originally later pay off, because then something big can happen at the end. And that is exactly the case. So if you join in a few years, you will see that there is a brand new campus over there, extension of the regular campus, and the number of students will grow as well. So it is fantastic. We have a female president, Dr. De La Torre. I think she has very nice touch, how to kind of combine so many good things together, and that is great leadership, and the results are very, very well seen. So when you come, you will, so I think we made a very convincing case. I hope so.
And if anybody has additional questions, Luisa, if you can put the department email that we have. We also have one for construction. I can post it. And if you have additional questions, please contact us.
I think Sarah raised her hand. Did you have a question?
Sarah?
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we have the they're
Maybe
forced
it's
on mute. Let me see if I can.
Oh, no, thanks, she said. Okay,
Okay.
it was just, okay. But you can put your question in chat and all that. We still have a few minutes. So a lot of information is online, obviously. I mean, you can check that. Just clapping for good presentation. Thank you very much. We hope to see you here as a student, okay? Sometimes it is very interesting that some students come for orientation like that, and later they approach me and they say, you know what, I mean, you kind of convinced me, at that time, and I came, then they successfully graduate. And so it is, for us, it is the biggest fun and kind of like reward if we see our students succeed. And we have so many who are already really very prominent in their organizations, in private companies, in the governmental institutions, doing extremely well. So that is something that we are here. Oh, a minor in real estate? No, we don't. There is,
Well, I was responding to that. We don't have a minor in our department, but we have the College of Business, and yes, you can minor in the College of Business. So especially for students in construction management, they are already going to be taking courses that put themselves on those paths, so it would be easier. Construction engineering, we have had students in the past who have minored in real estate as well. So not in the College of Engineering, but in the College of Business.
Excellent. Well, last 2 minutes for the most eager but shy people.
I will also say that on April 9, I'll try to be on campus if anybody is coming to visit, and if they contact us and they want to meet,
Yes.
Please let us know. We'll be around.
Yeah, that would be a really good opportunity to visit also our labs, to see our student projects, and kind of be a little bit closer to us. That connection now with the remote connections, we kind of got used to that already, and it looks like it is working pretty well too after some time to adjust to it. So, and also please don't hesitate to send an email. At the top of my presentation, it is an email address. If you missed something and you wanted to get clarification or something, or a new question or whatever, I will be very happy to answer that directly. And also Dr. Alves the same way. So we are here for you.
I think we had a question there about the student to professor ratio in the department.
Well, I appreciate
that.
I appreciate that comment about our presentation. I thank you very much. We really we all appreciate that.
So the ratios are going to vary, but our department also has a lot of lectures. So if you look just at a faculty, the ratios might look high, right? But it varies in terms of different majors, and we also have lecturers and additional faculty who teach our courses. So it's not just what you see online. There's a lot more faculty. So I also posted the link for the design day. There was a question about a major project done towards the end of the major. So if you check the design day page, you are going to see what kind of projects our students do, and even visit when they are presenting late this semester.
Yeah, I like that comment about our positivity. I mean, we are positive. We are, you know, looking forward. We are not kind of pessimists. We are optimists. Despite all the challenges that we had with COVID, with anything else, we are moving forward. And yeah, this is a very good place. So hope to see a lot of you here.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Okay, I don't know when we can declare that that's the end of the session. Is it?
I think that's it for us, unless there's any final questions here. We will close the session here in just a few minutes. So again, thank you all for attending and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best.